Patty Hodge, and this is at Dr. Nurse's Rock. Today, I'm going to talk about Valentine's Day. It's a couple of days away, and I would like to be here for people who don't have a Valentine. Holidays can be super stressful, no matter what time of year they happen, and for lots of different reasons. What I'd like to say today is that Valentine's Day carries its own special sort of baggage. Some of us don't have a special someone in our lives. Either we're grieving the loss of a spouse or a loved one, or we are facing a breakup or a divorce, or we just haven't found the right person for us. And we feel maybe left out and sad, and it can raise all kinds of old issues that are not resolved. Maybe rejections that we felt at different times in our lives. I remember being very young, having to bring 30 Valentines to school and just, scribble your classmate's name on them and stick them in a box. And you'd see some people walk away with a box full of Valentines, and maybe a couple of us walked away with one or two. It's painful. And when we are alone now as adults, we can forget how to take care of ourselves properly and wallow in our misery. You know that old saying, misery loves company. Well, it's really not good for us. It's not good for our spirits. It's not good for our bodies or minds or any part of us, actually. So what I did today is I've posted this PDF that I'm calling No Valentine Self-Care, which is exactly what it is. I'm facing Valentine's Day. There's no Valentine for me. I need to know how to take care of myself. So I've put this in order of the way that we've been speaking about self-care: body, mind, emotion, and spirit. And I have over 60 suggestions on how to care for yourself that don't require having a Valentine in your life. And so on Valentine's Day, if you are anticipating being alone and you're feeling bad about it already because it's a couple of days away, you can plan ahead. Planning ahead always gives us a sense of control over a situation. And things don't always go as we plan, but if we at least start out with some kind of goal, then we can see if we can get somewhere close to where we want to be. So if we break it down really quickly, I'm not going to read all 60 of them here. That's not necessary. But a few of them, cost some money, and they may require an advance appointment somewhere. So you're not just going to, on Valentine's Day, I'm certain it's not going to be easy to just walk into a massage place or your local hairdresser or a barbershop and be taken care of. People are trying to spruce themselves up for that nice date that they have later on in the day. Well, you're going to date yourself on Valentine's Day. So let's see, you may need an appointment for massage or for reflexology or for a mani-pedi or for a professional shave or waxing. I'm thinking that these things are things that are grooming self-care, and they do lift your spirit, and they do help your body to produce those feel-good hormones, those endorphins, okay? So some of the things that I suggest here are don't cost anything. Step out the door and breathe in some of that fresh winter air. Take a hike. If you're going to go out somewhere, go someplace where your senses are heightened. It doesn't cost anything except the gas to get to the local garden center and to walk around the aisles of greenery. The plants that are hidden in the back in the hothouse for the winter, they're looking for some love too. So other things that you might decide to do, we all have to shop, we all have to get groceries. Make yourself a special meal, and invite a friend over. Not everybody has a date on Valentine's Day. Find someone who is also alone Ways to care for your mind? Curl up with a good book. Limit screen time on those devices of yours, and avoid social media. There's nothing worse than watching post after post of, happy people over a meal, over, looking at the sunset together when you're feeling lonely. So, look, take care of yourself here. There's plenty of suggestions in this PDF. Getting grip on your emotions is maybe harder for some people. So really what I'm asking is, drag out that journal, identify the feelings that you're having about this day. Call a friend. There's nothing wrong with writing yourself a sweet note, and talk to that inner child of yours and say, hey, I remember that year that you only got that one Valentine. And I love you still. And lots of people love you, even if we don't hear from them today. Check in with your values. And, there's a couple of things that I'll talk about after this that might help too. One is calling an emotional care wheel. And I found a couple online, and I'll post links to those. And some other things, tidy up your home, sit with your pet, stay in your budget. That's financial self-care, and that happens to be one of the bigger stressors that we have if we're not taking care of our finances properly. So don't let this holiday or any other holiday break the bank. One of the things that I also want you to remember is to pay it forward for other people. Do acts of kindness. Take people by surprise, but don't do anything dangerous. I think it would be super cool just to buy a cheap bouquet of flowers, at the local grocery store, and hand out a few to random strangers and see them smile. I mean, how could that hurt? And it does bring some kind of joy to people who may not be having a great day either. Can you give a compliment and accept a compliment? We have to practice giving what we want to receive. So it doesn't hurt anyone to say, wow, those are, great shoes, or that's a great color on you, or, wow, that was really a kind thing that you did. Thanks so much. And take it in when someone compliments you as well. Keep in mind, you're one of a kind. Thousands upon thousands of people came before you to create in you, and you're completely unique. Your Creator delights in you, and you have a right to delight in yourself and other people. And you matter, and that's what I want you to remember to Valentine's Day and every other day of the year. So I'm going to make this PDF available to you, again, for free. Post the link down below. Here it is. Okay, no Valentine's self-care. No Valentine self-care. And the other couple of things that I wanted to share with you today, the coping strategies wheel is something that I see special educators putting online. And one in particular is at a website called Pathways to Success. We have a special needs person in our family, and I'm looking for things all the time to help him become the best, happiest person that he could be. This was a PDF that I found online, My Coping Strategies Wheel, and that's at this Pathways to Success website. So I'm shouting that out because I think she does great work, and I'd like to see her get a plug. The last thing I want to say is I talked to a single guy the other day to find out if his perspective was any different than my old lady perspective. He is a guy who apparently is a jack of all trades, and he came to sharpen some knives that I have here in the house, which is kind of a unique thing considering we don't really have people doing that much anymore. I'm old enough to remember my mother letting in the Fuller Brush guy and other salespeople that came knocking on the door. That doesn't happen much. But this is E. Craig. I'll post his link below. You see that little laughing face down there? He's a comedian. He's a comedian, and he has a small, very small following on YouTube, smaller than mine at this point. So I told him, well, I would say something nice about him if he'll post something nice about me. So I asked him, what do you do on Valentine's Day if you don't have a Valentine? And I really got a lot of insights from him. He said he has a fluffy body that he wishes he didn't have. Okay, so I heard a little insecurity there, and that broke my heart, because there are so many wonderful young men out there who have these insecurities. Women are not alone in feeling insecure about their bodies or how people perceive them, and social media does not help that insecurity when you see these airbrushed perfect people, or these situations that you just know you're never going to be in. You're never going to be on a yacht. You're never going to have these big social parties, and so what I'm going to say to you is he says when he's looking for companionship, a friend, or the possible love interest, he goes to places where he thinks women are looking for love. So I said, well, that's interesting. Where is that? He said, well, I go to the grocery store. And on Valentine's Day, if I was alone, I would go early in the day. And I would look for some really unfit person and woman and say to her, wow, how do you get so fit? Can you give me some tips? And he would strike up a conversation. He told me that he likes to be a bit of a peacock. So he'll dress up in, even costumes sometimes, which alarmed me a little bit. But he said he loves it when a woman approaches him. So girls, take note. He goes to thrift stores. Now, are women looking for love go to thrift stores? I'm not sure, but maybe. He also goes to bars and lounges, but he's also a comedian, and that's where he performs. So he also, interestingly, said that he developed his own course on dating. So I'm going to put a plug in for him. I can't guarantee his work, and always use your own best judgment. This is about discernment. This place is about you doing what's best for you. Remember that. The last thing I'd like to talk about today involves safety. I know that a lot of young people are going to go out and don't have access to this channel. And if you're listening to this and you know someone who is in that category and could benefit from what I have to say, please share this video with them. Dating safety, or being a single out in the world looking for some kind of connection with someone. If you're going to go to a place to drink or do karaoke or be someplace with other folks who are single and looking for some kind of partnership, what I have come across are some safety tips for women in particular. That does not mean that young men are not in danger. Apparently, they can very well be endangered in those situations as well. But often it's the woman that's victimized by having something put in her drink, or being approached by someone that feels dangerous to them. So I did come across this thing called an angel shot. So if you're going to a familiar place, a bar or a lounge, ask if they're familiar with that terminology before you go. Make a phone call and say, hey, I read about this thing, this code that you can give to a bartender if you feel like you're in an unsafe situation. And if they don't know something about it, you can either educate them about it or move on to another place that does understand what we're talking about. So if a woman is approached at a bar and she's feeling that it's an unsafe situation, this person is just not leaving her alone, apparently she can use a code with a bartender, and if the bartender is aware of what that means, they'll either escort her to her car or call for the authorities to come and deal with the situation. So I will put a link below to what that is. It's called an angel shot code. And hopefully every one of you, male and female, single and partnered, has a wonderful holiday. Now, if you would please remember to subscribe if you haven't done that before. Share this video, that helps to grow the channel. Comment and like or dislike, and let me know why you like or dislike what I've said here. Always remember, this is about you taking care of you, doing what's best for you, using your own discernment. I'm providing some science-based, evidence-based things for you to consider. My goal is to help you live life to the full. Take care now.